Once upon a time in the heart of Kogi, Nigeria, where the great hills roll like ancient giants and the rivers sing to the skies, there stood a proud and mighty mountain called Oku-Agbo. Towering over the land, covered in mist and silence, Oku-Agbo had stood since time began. The people of the villages below believed it was a living spirit, older than any man, and wiser than any chief. But not all spirits respected age. Far above, the wind wild, restless, and young ruled the skies. It flew over rivers, danced through forests, and bent tall trees to its will. The wind believed itself untouchable, the freest spirit of all. One evening, the wind looked down upon Oku-Agbo and scoffed. "You stand so still, old one," the wind said, circling the peak. "Have you ever tasted the world beyond your roots? Have you ever danced in the desert, or laughed through the cracks of thunder?" Oku-Agbo said nothing. Silence was its way. But the wind was not satisfied. "Perhaps you are proud because people bow to you," the wind teased. "Let me show them who truly holds the power." And so, the wind howled through the valleys of Kogi. It tore roofs from homes in Ida. It flattened yam barns in Enigba. It scared birds from the trees in Kaba and chased fishermen off the rivers in Lokoja. People wailed and prayed, clutching their children and cursing the spirit in the sky. But when the wind reached Oku-Agbo, it paused. For the first time in its wild life, it felt resistance. The wind rushed at the mountain's face with all its might, trying to push it down. Nothing moved. It screamed and twisted and blew harder. Oku-Agbo didn't budge. The wind gathered a mighty storm, dark as sorrow and loud as war, and hurled it against the mountain. But Oku-Agbo only let the rain wash its stones. Thunder cracked, lightning struck, but the mountain did not tremble. And then, something happened that the wind never expected. Oku-Agbo spoke. Its voice was deep like the earth's heartbeat, slow and calm. "You fly, but you do not know. You dance, but you do not feel. You scatter, but you do not build. I have stood here for generations, listening to the secrets of the soil, watching the rise and fall of kingdoms. I do not need to move to have power. I do not need to shout to be heard." The wind tried to laugh, but its voice was thin now. Oku-Agbo continued. "One day, wind, you will grow tired. You will lose strength. You will fade, like all that moves too fast. But I will remain. Still. Steady. Strong. And long after the names of men and spirits are forgotten, the people will still call me Oku-Agbo, the silent guardian." The wind fled that day. Since then, it has never dared return to the mountain with its full force. When it passes over Kogi, it softens, whispering gently through the leaves. And the people say that the wind bows low whenever it nears Oku-Agbo. And that, children, is why the wind fears the mountain in Kogi. Moral: true power does not always shout. Sometimes, it is the quiet strength that endures the longest.